everyone. I am headed out to Bryan Roofs' house. I was out there on the 4th of July. That's the property that had all the cool off-camber stuff, grass tracks, some high-speed sections. I'm going out there with Pete, and I did a couple adjustments to my bike since the race that twisted fence. I don't have any footage of that because my camera was set on medium, and with it on my helmet, all that you saw was my gas tank. So that kind of sucked. Long story short, I ended up in the middle of the pack, exactly where I expected to be. My physical performance was not very good. The bike I really had no complaints about, other than I just noticed that I'm still not using that last 2 inches or last inch and a half of my stroke. I didn't bottom out at all. So I gotta figure out my forks there. My sag was set at like, I think 90, maybe, no, 106 it was. So I'm gonna bump that up to like 120, see if I can't get more weight up front. I think that's the way it goes. If not, then I'll just let it be. But everyone seems to like 120, between 120, 130, some people down to 110s. It's all rider preference, but my thing is I gotta see if I can get some weight up front. The other thing I did is I changed the gearing in it. I went to a 51 rear sprocket, sorry, excuse me, from a 1349 to a 1351. So that brings me closer to 4 revolutions on the front sprocket to every 1 revolution of the rear. Whatever, it's further away from 1 to 1. So that's going to bring all my gears closer together and shorten them up a little bit. Could possibly keep me in the pipe. Everyone seems to want to change gearing on it for the woods, so I figured, hey, why not try it? So today's going to be a good day to try out some suspension. I want to mess with my clickers a little bit for my rear shock, because it seems a little pogo-y and bouncy. Maybe I can make that a little bit more stable and get that weight up front and test out this gear. So yeah, Bryans is about 26 minutes away, something like that. I'm actually a little early. I'm supposed to be there at 9:30. It's 8:50 right now. I'm almost there. So we'll let's get to riding. Pete almost died. Oh man. You all right, Pete? Shit! Alright, here we go. Had an awesome day at Bryans. The monkey butt came through there. It's a dual sport ride. It came through his property, I think, last weekend, 2 weekends ago. And so some of the trails were, I don't want to say beat up, but there were berms. It was silty. It was pretty dusty. It took me about a half a lap to realize that, hey, those silt berms are not going to hold you unless it's a rut. So that was, the gearing worked out well. First gear is definitely like a good hill climb gear. Second gear I can motor along in his tight woods there. And a little bit more clutch work, which I knew I was going to end up doing in second, but I can recover in second from a mistake, which is awesome. And that's kind of what I want to do, is I want to be able to have a gear that is just a little too fast for some of it, but I can keep it on the pipe there in most sections and hold it there longer, instead of shifting into third and then having it back to downshift. So I think I'm going to leave the gearing where it is. My suspension, I have mixed feelings about still. The forks are definitely stiff, because I'm still not using that last 2 inches. So I think, I know there's a preload in there. What I have to do is I have to measure the sag of the forks to make sure that my spring rate is where it needs to be. if the sag is correct and my spring rate's correct, even though I looked it up on Racetech's website, I can then go after the shim stack itself and try to soften up the compression side of it by making like a 27 millimeter shim and replacing it with a 25 millimeter, some shit like that. Just fine tune that shim stack to make me blow through the compression a little bit faster. My clickers were almost all the way out. I didn't see any difference in that. So I think, I'm just going to check the sag. I do have preload washers in there, so I could lower or, you know, soften the spring up a little bit that way. There was a couple good hill climbs there we had some fun with. Pete got stuck on one of them, I got stuck on another one. Their first gear was definitely a good hill climb gear. I could feather the clutch. I gotta work on, with the hill climbs, it made me realize that my weight is still far back on the bike, bringing the weight off of the forks. That's why I'm like still kind of skeptical on the forks. I think I just need to change my riding style. I'm used to a Husky WR300, which is kind of a longer bike, I would say. And so I think my body position plays a very important role in how this suspension acts and reacts. So with doing these hill climbs, it made me realize that I'm sitting back a little bit further than I should be, or standing further back. My weight's further back than it should be. So I think I'm going to focus on trying to keep my weight forward on that front tire. Realize that it's a shorter bike, so I got to get up on the bars more and just go from there. So coming up in the next couple weeks, well, let's see, October 18th and November 1st are like the Western New York Hare Scramble Series, the fall series. It's only 3 races, I think, this year, but they're all on motocross tracks, which is kind of cool. So the Hare Scramble, it's like half woods, half motocross. That's always fun. So that's why I think I'm gonna leave the suspension the way that it is, because once I get on the Pavilion, I know it's got some hard edge bumps in it, and I want to see if I can bottom out those. And if that's the fact I can't bottom out in Pavilion, then I got to do something about those springs, hands down. Something's just not right with that end of it. So thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, like, subscribe. I do tech videos too. I work in the garage most of the time, so go check that out. Check out some of my back ones. I actually built this bike. I'm still building it now. Go back and see some of the mods I did with it. I got a couple other bikes that I've been building or built for people. So like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you on the next one.